Dear participants, on behalf of the Ministry of the Environment, Climate and Energy of the Republic of Slovenia, I warmly welcome you to EMS 2025. It is an honor to host such a distinguished gathering of experts committed to advancing meteorological science and its role in shaping a resilient future. The Ministry is aware that climate change is no longer a distant concern. It is a present reality affecting every aspect of our lives, from public health to agriculture, infrastructure, and the economy. Slovenia has witnessed this firsthand, with increasingly frequent extreme weather events, including devastating floods, persistent droughts, and intense heat waves. In response, we are investing in state-of-the-art systems for monitoring weather and climate at the Slovenian Environment Agency, ensuring that timely, reliable, and actionable scenarios for adaptations are available to decision makers and communities. We are also leading legislative efforts to enable effective and forward-looking climate adaptation across all sectors. Rising public awareness and fostering regional cooperation are central to our mission. In February, we proudly hosted a ministerial conference focused on exchanging knowledge and strategies for climate adaptation in our region, a testament to our commitment to collaborative progress. I wish you a productive and inspiring conference, and thank you for your invaluable contributions to a more climate-resilient Europe.
Spoštovani udeleženci konference Evropske meteorološke zveze, dobrodošli v Sloveniji, eni izmed najbolj zelenih držav Evropske unije, kjer se Alpe srečajo z morjem. Živimo v izredno pomembnih časih za meteorologijo in hidrologijo. Podnebne spremembe prinašajo v družbo negotovost in potrebo po prilagajanju. To velja tako za posameznike, kot tudi za posamezne dejavnosti, ki so v veliki meri odvisne od vremena in voda. Vsak dan tako spremljamo izzive pri pridobivanju energije iz obnovljivih virov. Tudi kmetijstvo se sooča z velikim pritiskom zaradi vročinskih valov. V Sloveniji smo imeli pred 2 letoma uničujoče poplave in tudi na Agenciji za okolje s strahom spremljamo izračune meteoroloških in hidroloških modelov, kaj nam bodo prinesli jesenski padavinski dogodki. Celotna Evropa, pravzaprav celoten svet, se sooča z velikimi gozdnimi požari, ki povzročajo človeške žrtve, veliko škodo ter imajo uničujoče posledice za okolje. Vreme torej veliko bolj kroji naše življenje, kot smo to pričakovali v preteklosti. Poznavanje vremena se je ponovno znašlo v središču pozornosti. Povpraševanje po našem znanju in naših informacijah je vse več. Naša stroka je aktualna kot verjetno še nikoli. To je za meteorologijo in hidrologijo čas velikih zahtev, po drugi strani pa tudi čas velikih priložnosti in izzivov. Zato zelo pozdravljam konferenco, ki je usmerjena le k enemu skupnemu cilju. Kako biti še boljši, kako ponuditi še več znanja in produktov, ter kako bomo meteorologi in hidrologi še koristnejši za družbo. Še posebej sem vesel, da je ta konferenca tokrat v Sloveniji, kjer smo meteorologi zelo cenjeni. Želim vam uspešno konferenco in da boste v svoja delovna okolja prinesli nova znanja, ki jih kot družba nujno potrebujemo.
Spoštovane udeleženke in udeleženci redne letne konference Evropske meteorološke zveze, drage kolegice in kolegi, dobrodošli v Sloveniji, dobrodošli v Ljubljani. Za Slovensko meteorološko službo je velika čast in tudi odgovornost, da sodelujemo pri organizaciji tako pomembnega dogodka, kot je srečanje evropskih meteorologov. Verjamemo, da je takšno srečanje izjemno pomembno za razvoj naše stroke, posebej v današnjem času, polnom izzivov, tako strokovnih kot družbenih. Živimo v času hitrih sprememb, spreminja se podnebje, vremenski ekstremi so vse pogostejši. Njihove posledice vse močneje vplivajo na naša življenja, na gospodarstvo, okolje in družbo kot celoto. In prav zato rastejo tudi pričakovanja javnosti do naše stroke. Želijo natančne napovedi, zanesljive podnebne informacije in predvsem pravočasna opozorila. In to je naša naloga. To je poslanstvo naše stroke. Še pred desetletjem smo bili meteorologi in hidrologi najbolj prepoznavni po vremenskih in hidroloških napovedih. Danes pa je naša vloga precej širša. Ključna odgovornost danes je izdajanje opozoril na nevarne vremenske dogodke in priprava podnebnih projekcij v podporo prilagajanju na podnebne spremembe. A spremembe ne prihajajo le iz narave. Zelo hitro se razvija tudi tehnologija. Razvoj orodij, ki jih uporabljamo, še nikoli ni bil tako hiter. Letošnja konferenca posebej izpostavlja vlogo umetne inteligence v naši stroki. In to z razlogom. Ta tehnologija spreminja naš način dela. Odpira nam izjemne priložnosti za napredek, a hkrati predstavlja tudi izziv. Zahteva nova znanja, nove pristope in tesnejše sodelovanje med nami. Slovenska meteorološka služba se aktivno vključuje v številne mednarodne pobude in med drugim aktivno podpira pobudo Svetovne meteorološke organizacije in Združenih narodov Zgodna opozorila za vse. Aktivno sodelujemo pri razvoju podpornega sistema za zgodnje opozarjanje v jugovzhodnji Evropi, projekt SIMIUS. Vodimo Center za upravljanje suše v jugovzhodnji Evropi ter upravljamo regionalni instrumentalni center v okviru Svetovne meteorološke organizacije. Zavedamo se, da vreme ne pozna meja in da z regionalnim sodelovanjem lažje in učinkoviteje naslavljamo strokovne izzive ter zagotavljamo boljše storitve za vse uporabnike. Zgodnja opozorila so eden najpomembnejših ukrepov prilagajanja na podnebne spremembe. Zato v naši službi intenzivno vlagamo v posodobitev merilne infrastrukture. Posodobili smo mrežo meteoroloških in hidroloških postaj, vzpostavili en radarski sistem in prenavljamo drugega, vzpostavljamo sistem za samodejne radiosondaže ter postavljamo sodobne komunikacijske sisteme. Obenem pa skrbimo za učinkovite povezave tako z državnimi kot regionalnimi službami, ki skrbijo za zaščito in reševanje. Zavedamo se namreč, da opozorila pomagajo le, če pridejo do odgovornih služb in javnosti hitro, jasno in predvsem pravočasno. Prav zato ima ta konferenca poseben pomen. Predstavlja izjemno priložnost za znanstvenike, razvijalce, praktične meteorologe in vse, ki soustvarjamo prihodnost meteoroloških in hidroloških storitev. Tu je prostor za izmenjavo znanja, izkušenj, za gradnjo novih partnerstv in iskanje rešitev za številne izzive, ki so pred nami. Želim vam, da iz te konference odnesete čim več znanja, svežih idej in novih znanstev. In da uživate v Ljubljani, v mestu, ki vas bo, upam, očaralo svojo lepoto, energijo in gostoljubnostjo. Želim vam uspešno konferenco.
Dear colleagues, distinguished guests, EMS 2025 participants, it is my sincere honor to welcome you all to this year's European Meteorological Society Conference on behalf of the Biotechnical Faculty, University of Ljubljana. Climate change is not a future concern, it is today's reality. Its effects are not longer abstract, they show up in fields and forests, on farms, and in our food systems. Agriculture in particular faces day-to-day unpredictability, persistent droughts, unexpected frosts, sudden hailstorms, shifting harvest patterns. These disruptions impact not just growers, but food security, ecosystems, and communities. To adapt meaningfully, agriculture must lean on your expertise. Meteorological forecasts must go beyond precision. They must be timely, clear and actionable. When combined with artificial intelligence and machine learning, your data can become early warnings, operational tools, and strategies for resilience. At our faculty, we've long advocated for cross-disciplinary collaboration, from agrometeorology and climatology to precision agriculture. We believe resilience grows when scientists work together across soil, water, and weather. We are proud to host EMS 2025 here in Slovenia, a place where challenges meet innovation. Let this conference be a launchpad for solutions and a reminder, timely information isn't just valuable, it can be life-saving. Thank you for being part of this mission. I wish you insightful conversations, bold ideas, and impactful outcomes.
Na Agenciji Republike Slovenije za okolje pomagamo državljanom in državnim organom pri sprejemanju odločitev povezanih z okoljem. Za učinkovitejše upravljanje nalog na vseh področjih naše dejavnosti sodelujemo tudi z mednarodnimi institucijami. Naše poslanstvo tako vključuje spremljanje, zbiranje, analiziranje in vrednotenje okoljskih podatkov ter napovedovanje naravnih pojavov z namenom zmanjševanja ranljivosti na naravne nevarnosti. Za analiziranje stanja in ukrepanje so osnova kakovostni podatki. Naš umerjevalni laboratorij zagotavlja visoke standarde merilne opreme, ki omogoča izredno natančno zbiranje podatkov. Ti se nato stekajo v podatkovne baze, kjer jih preverjamo, obdelujemo in analiziramo. Imamo razvejano merilno mrežo za spremljanje vremena, stanja voda, morja, kakovosti zraka in tal ter potresne dejavnosti. Za kmetijstvo, varnost in vsakdanje odločitve je ključna kakovostna vremenska napoved. Od nje in od neprekinjenih meteoroloških meritev na letališčih s poudarkom na varnosti letenja je odvisna tudi varnost letalskega prometa. Pri opozarjanju na vremenske in vodne ujme pomaga radarska slika padavin. Spremljamo stanje podzemnih voda in morja. Podzemna voda je ključna za pitno vodo. Za pridelavo hrane in kmetijstva je pomembna dobra kakovost tal, za zdravje ljudi pa seveda tudi kakovost zunanjega zraka. Ob tem izdajamo opozorila ob preseženih vrednostih škodljivih snovi. Javnost obveščamo o trenutni potresni dejavnosti. Potresov ne moremo napovedati, lahko pa jih spremljamo in analiziramo ter ocenjujemo verjetnost za njihov pojav in intenziteto. Ob tem pomagamo tudi gradbeni stroki pri odločitvah za potresno odporne stavbe. Spremljamo tudi izpuste v zrak, v vode in tla, ravnanje z odpadki ter obremenjenost okolja s hrupom in elektromagnetnim sevanjem. Vse te podatke zbiramo in na osnovi opravljenih analiz poročamo državnim organom in Evropski komisiji. Naravo spremljamo, da jo razumemo, okolje analiziramo, da ga varujemo, pojave napovedujemo, da zaščitimo življenja in premoženje. Za varno, zdravo in trajno prihodnost. Agencija Republike Slovenije za okolje.
Dear participants, the Solco W. Trump Foundation has been a partner of the annual meetings of the EMS for many, many years. Our foundation was founded in 1968, and it is our goal to stimulate research in the area of biometeorology. More specific, we want to contribute to better insight in the impact of the atmosphere on living beings. We aim to realize this through various instruments. We give financial support to promising scientists to enable them to visit conferences like the yearly EMS meeting. We grant special awards to senior scientists to show our recognition for their achievements in the field of biometeorology. And also we support workshops and seminars that emphasize the importance of biometeorology. Also this year in Ljubljana, we will give our support to the EMS annual meeting along these lines. And of course, we are very proud that our esteemed board member, Tanja Jegnar, has been in charge of the organization of this year's event. I hope you will visit our website, www.trumpfoundation.org, to learn more about our activities. And even better, spread the word that we are always searching for scientists whom we can support or award, as mentioned earlier. Let me finish with expressing my trust that you will all benefit from being in the beautiful city of Ljubljana, learning about meteorology and sharing best practices with other fellow scientists. All in all, I hope you will have a really great time in every sense of the word. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Georgios Nicolaou. I have been working since 2005 in the Land and Water Use section of the Department of Agriculture in Cyprus. I have a lot of interest in irrigation, water management and greenhouse technologies. I complete my doctoral studies at the University of Thessaly in the Laboratory of Agricultural Constructions and Environmental Control, where I am still affiliated. I am truly honored to receive the EMS Trom Award for an outstanding achievement in biometeorology and have the opportunity to present and discuss to the 2025 annual meeting. I look forward to interacting with fellow professionals, sharing ideas and learning from innovative approaches in agriculture and water management. Greenhouses in the Mediterranean are often concentrated in relatively small agricultural areas, often associated with environmental pollution-related problems. The United Nations Agenda for Adaptation to Climate Change and Sustainable Development promotes circular economy principles and zero pollution. Considering this, we recognize that greenhouse cultivation in the Mediterranean region faces unique challenges. Greenhouses are also considered as a mitigation measure to combat climate change and as a sustainable production system. However, energy used for cooling and irrigation represents one of the main sources of energy consumption. The challenge in the Mediterranean greenhouses is to increase energy and water efficiency in a sustainable manner under recent environmental conditions. This can be achieved through the introduction of novel technologies as well as the incorporation of renewable energy sources and the development of smart energy management algorithms. The paper titled Design of Tethys and greenhouse plant smart water harvesting and air cleaning system was awarded for outstanding achievement in biometeorology. The name Tethys is inspired by Greek mythology, where Tethys was the Titan goddess of the primal source of fresh water that nourishes the earth. It was published in 2024 in the Euro-Mediterranean Journal for Environmental Integration. The objective was to develop a multi-scale greenhouse model based on the speaking plant approach and to propose a plant smart water harvesting using a desiccant wheel and air cleaning system aimed at minimizing the outflow of airborne chemical pollutants from Mediterranean-type greenhouses. Tethys is expected to have a large impact in locations where the supply of low-cost heat or electricity is particularly expensive and in water-scarce regions. Considering Tethys' advantages over programmable greenhouse climate time-based controller devices, it is a powerful green tool that can be used in greenhouses. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to thank my advisor, Professor Konstantinos Kidas of the University of Thessaly, a leading expert in agricultural constructions and greenhouse environments. His guidance was truly catalytic in shaping my understanding of greenhouse climate dynamics, and his mentorship has played a key role in my professional development. I am looking forward to attending the 2025 annual meeting of the European Meteorological Society in Ljubljana in order to discuss further about Tethys.
Hi, my name is Vladimir, and I hold a master's degree of molecular biology and physiology with special interest in immunology, and I currently work as a freelance researcher focusing on environmental epidemiology, and often I like to describe myself as both a problem solver and a system thinker. And the problem our research is trying to address is the changing dynamic of seasonal phenomena such as the influenza epidemic due to climate change. And while the influenza epidemic does showcase some consistent seasonal patterns, it is still deeply influenced by both complex meteorological and sociological factors, amongst others, which are all altered by climate change. That is why, instead of focusing on just one singular factor, we tried to define a seasonal transition in a specific way and see how it could potentially modify the transmission of influenza in a more systematic and complex way. That is why we opted to using a recently proposed metric, the Novel Seasonality Index, to define a season in a more meaningful and meteorologically grounded way. By doing this, we found some very strong correlations between the index and the infection rates obtained from weekly data surveillance methods from different climate zones. And we also found strong alignment between the dominant timescales on the frequency spectrum of influenza epidemic and the duration of winter season as proposed by the index. Right now, we are looking to build up on this optimistic initial research and to try and adapt to a world where the historical seasonal patterns are becoming less reliable and consistent, and also to scarcity of trustworthy data sources. I'm thankful and thrilled to be able to present at this year's annual EMS conference, and from the bottom of my heart, I am thankful to the Trump Foundation for sponsoring the young scientists, such as myself, with this travel award. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, my name is Alexandra Jacobson and I'm a current master's student studying climate science at the University of Bern in Bern, Switzerland. I'll be presenting my master's thesis determining the historical and future impacts of the excess water limitation on winter wheat yields in Switzerland at the 2025 EMS annual meeting. It's so important that we're able to understand the impacts of climate change that has on our agriculture to prepare our food systems and avoid malnutrition. My research combines atmospheric science with agriculture in the context of risk assessment. The overall goal of my project is to explore the relationship between changes in weather patterns and agricultural yields. To do this, I'm using historical climate reconstructions going back to the year 1763 and previous winter wheat harvest records for Switzerland to calibrate the Python crop simulation environment model. Using the historical climate data and previous harvest yields, I'll calibrate the crop model so the output yield matches historical yields for Switzerland. I will then use the calibrated crop model to run simulations using weather data that correspond to representative concentration pathways 2.6, 4.5, and 8.5 to see if winter wheat harvest yields will change in Switzerland between the years 2020 and 2100, specifically in the context of changes in rainfall. This part of the project will determine future changes to winter wheat harvest yields in Switzerland under various emissions scenarios. I'm so grateful for the Trump Foundation for selecting me in my research for the Travel Award for Young Scientists to attend EMS 2025. I'm looking forward to presenting my research and getting some valuable feedback from other attendees and also to meet my fellow grant recipients. See you soon!
Hi everyone, my name is Carla Mateus and I'm an assistant professor in geography department at Maynooth University in Ireland. I do research in historical climatology, climate change and extreme weather events. In addition, I love doing outreach, science communication and public engagement. I'm delighted to receive the Trump Foundation Travel Award for Young Scientists to present my research on impacts of heat waves and cold waves in Ireland derived from documentary source at the European Meteorological Society annual meeting this year in Ljubljana. There has been a significant increase in air temperatures and warming of extreme air temperature indices in Ireland. This research will present the most detailed qualitative analysis of documentary source to assess the impacts of heat waves and cold waves in Ireland, filling a key gap in climate research. Documentary sources associated with instrumental data are crucial in characterizing past extreme air temperature events in terms of frequency, intensity, duration, geographical distribution, and associated environmental and socioeconomic impacts in great detail. This database will be an open access tool available to stakeholders and policymakers in Ireland and essential to support climate action, adaptation and mitigation policies to reduce vulnerability and increase resilience to future extreme air temperature events in the context of changing climate. I'll be presenting this research at the Paleoclimatology and Historical Climatology session. Thanks again to Trump Foundation for this travel award. Do you want to know more about this work? I hope to see you at the EMS annual meeting. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Xenia Lawrence. I'm studying at my bachelor in meteorology at the University of Cologne in Germany. I am incredibly honored to receive this year's Trump's Foundation Young Scientists Award for the 26th EMS annual meeting in Ljubljana in Slovenia. At this meeting, I will present my own research about urban meteorology and, to be precise, about how urban green infrastructures and also urban design strategies can help to mitigate local heating and pollutions. This topic is becoming increasingly important because more than 60% of Earth's population is estimated to live in cities in 2050, and hence more and more people are suffering from the changes due to climate change and also local heating and air pollution, with already 7 million people dying each year. My own thesis, which I'll be presenting, focuses on urban green infrastructures and how they can be used to mitigate or to reduce local heating and air pollution in a street canyon in Marconi Street in Bologna in Italy. I did this using the so-called EnviMet microclimatic simulation tool, which is a software to simulate urban microclimates. Again, thank you very much to the Trump Foundation to offer these awards for young scientists. I am very excited to meet you all in Ljubljana and to just learn from each other and from the EMS community. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Andrea Novaro. I'm a PhD student in the PhD National Program on Sustainable Development and Climate Change, and I'm currently working at the University of Torino in the Department of Medical Science. My research focuses on the effect of climate change on human health, and more specifically on the long-term impacts. In my presentation, I will discuss the effect of cumulative exposure to extreme climatic events to the children's respiratory health. The study uses the data of NIFEA, is an Italian birth cohort. The exposure are reconstructed using the residential history of the participant, allowing me to create a sort of climatic timeline for each individual, which is then analyzed using climatic indices and different definition of extreme events. But no more spoiler, I will tell you more at the EMS 2025. Last but not least, I would like to thank the Trump Foundation for the Travel Award and the opportunity to attend and meet all of you. See you soon.
Hello, everyone. It's a real honor to receive the EMS Journalistic Award for 2025. Thank you very much. It's the second time, in fact, I've won it, having been awarded it back in 2021. At that time around, it was for an article I wrote in Nature about a research team's efforts to use ocean modeling to track down the still missing Malaysian Airlines flight MH370, which disappeared back in 2014, I think. So as I said, today I want to thank the EMS and the judges on the panel for recognizing the role journalism can play in driving serious science-informed conversations, in this case around climate change. I've received the award for an article entitled "Fossil Fuel Ties: How Staff Are Putting Heat on Universities." We often talk about the responsibility of governments or corporations, but in my awarded article, I wanted to explore another powerful player, which is, of course, the university, The article, which is published in Research Professional, where I am a regular contributor, investigates how universities across Europe continue to maintain financial and institutional ties with fossil fuel companies, even as they publicly commit to climate goals. Those connections can take many forms: research partnerships, sponsored shares, investment portfolios, think pensions, and board level relationships. And while some universities have moved to cut those links, most have not. I think what made the story compelling were the voices of staff, scientists and lecturers, administrators who are pushing back. Some are campaigning for divestment, others are challenging the influence of fossil-linked funding. A growing number are calling for full transparency about who universities are working with and why. I think what unites them is a shared belief that these institutions of knowledge and learning, they have a duty to lead in the climate space, especially now that it's clear that we're really in the midst of the climate emergency, and such leadership can't be compromised at this point, especially. One of the more striking things I heard was how normalized these fossil fuel relationships had become in some institutions. In certain areas, in certain cases, partnerships had lasted decades. You can think geology, for example, has a clear area where there could be links with fossil fuel companies. And those relationships, sometimes lasting decades, have helped shape research agendas, influencing how climate-related science has been applied in the real world. And yet, in many universities, there's never really been a serious public debate about those links and if they're still acceptable. So I think people are really starting to challenge that now. It's starting to change. And part of that is because staff are demanding it. It's really a grassroots effort. There's a growing awareness that if universities want to be seen as credible actors in the climate space, they need to hold themselves to higher standards. And that means asking hard questions, not just about where money comes from, but what values it carries with it. So for me, the story was about more than fossil fuel funding, really. It was about accountability and the tension between institutional ambition and institutional practice. I think universities play a critical role in shaping climate knowledge. Just think IPCC. And also in influencing policy and educating the next generation of scientists and engineers, leaders. But they can't credibly do that while remaining entangled with industries that actively undermine the science they promote. So journalism can help illuminate that gap, the space between climate commitments and the systems that are basically quietly weakening them. And I think in that space, there's real opportunity for change. So thanks again to the EMS. Wish you all a lovely conference in Ljubljana this year. Wish I was there. It's a privilege as a journalist to be recognized. I hope this story and others like it keep the pressure on all of us not to just talk about climate action, but to really live it every day at every level. So thank you very much.
started with the awards ceremony. So this session includes presentations of awards. We have the Silver Medal lecture, and we also have a strategic lecture. So we are Filmi of holding a little £1.
It's a great pleasure for me today and present the powers of the accent we cover us, and especially the amazing crowd. So enjoy this event.
Thank you very much. We have two extremes here, Tanya, at one of the two people who were whole 25 times and give the nice eloquence. She's also observed them like when. I ever used the first time when I was here, I'm the chairman from Trump Foundation, the Dutch Foundation, which is active on stimulating the students, at postgrad students, on field by the meteorology. And since 2015, we grant awards to young scientists and more experienced scientists that are very hard to announce the names of the scientists who will receive, of course, a nice little letter, and then also a nice present from the Netherlands. That's jotted, if it didn't learn. Really? So, the first person is Chilla Vincent, my Albakker uit de Wing, right, who gets the award for field level analysis of phenological cycles and the language of sunflower and hornseed flowering within various regions of Hungary. Everybody can see when birth presentations. It's Thursday. So the second is Francesco Skekau, over pronounced it right, who gets the award for his work on temperature extremes of human health in the cyclones, investigating the impact of heat and cold waves. Then we have one of the first able to present this morning, Zikai Fei, who has given the award for exploring three change, cooling effects, and skin temperature recovery in urban environments. Yeah. So the fourth one is for Kwabo Ontis Korane, who gets the award for his work on valley regions within the Valley on Pyrenees, vertical and horizontal structure and evolution over the Anu Saigi through observations. Makes sense. Then we have Matej Zetskelia, who gets the award for his work on geospatial approach for heat risk estimation by integrating remotely sensed and ground-based data in Ilada, Italy. And the last person in this row is Beatriz Sanchez, who gets the award for her work on past and future changes in the spatial temporal distribution of heat stress here in Spain, Madrid.
We're taking a boost.
The person who was granted the EMS Trauma Award this year is Pistos Diadapos for his work on hourly values of advanced meteorology index for a diverse population is from 1991 to 2020. Replicability and exploitability aspect. Very different. I was getting at his presentation. It's very difficult.
Hello, everybody. I'm very happy to be here at the European conference of the European Meteorological Society. And I'm here not only to enjoy Barcelona and the meeting. My main job is to advertise our new journal of the European Meteorological Society. And we have two editors-in-chief. The other one is my colleague, Gert-Jan Senefeld. He's around, and we both are here to advertise the journey. And we're sure you will be very interested to get the first papers and have a look. So, welcome to Reading It.
Yeah, next year we will be in Ljubljana. And that will be something I'm really looking forward to because I've never been there. But this year we are here in Barcelona, as we have been in so many other places. And the good thing with CMS is you meet all people you have met before. And if you haven't been here before to any of CMS, so also a number of new people. Like this time, I think 30% have never attended an EIS and coming here. And it's such a great atmosphere, such a good atmosphere. And lots of young people, but also older like me, very few. But some of them are there as well. So you can have the whole community in one place. That's great.
Hello, my name is Stanislava Tsalova. I am from Bulgaria. I am a weather person, a TV presenter and TV host, and also meteorologist. I need to say that EMS is a big inspiration for me. Every time I come here on this conference, I go back home with so many ideas. I meet wonderful people here. So enjoy. Ljubljana, wait for us.
Hello, my name is Natalia. I am from Ukraine in Hydrometeorological Center. My background, like a weather broadcaster, and now I'm head of department that interaction with media, and I have experience provide information, provide forecast on the TV channel, like a weather presenter. So for me, it's very important to be here, and thanks to our project with the Finnish Meteorological Institute that support Ukrainian Hydrometeorological Center in this deeper climate. We have opportunity to be here.
Hello, everybody. My name is Chico Zhao. I come from PE University from J. We come to the EMS strategic war to protect our high impact weather project here. And this project at the parallel of the WO. We are very happy to present order of our project here. You can see the study here, the citizen science. Okay. Pretty cheap, Jack. And wave to me.
Hi, I'm Natalia Dergi. I represent the regional office payroll of the World Meteorological Organization, and I was attending a symposium on weather and well-being in Barcelona. It was back to the European Meteorological Society. WMO is committed to support Cankarjevem for the integration of the health and the weather systems of sciences. And since we are in alignment with the WMO strategic plan, and the Global Fund for Climate Services.
Says mostly they have a degree in meteorology, as well as a certification from one of two groups, the American Meteorological Society. Probably more difficult skill to achieve, requires a certain course you study, and you pass a test and be screened by a body peers. Also, the National Weather Association does not require with a rigorous field of study, but you do have to take a test of use for that. And so most of the presenters are actual real meteorologists in the United States. And something you might find interesting, of the 984 seal of approval holders of folder from the American Meteorological Society, the vast majority are still men. This has been changing. 20 years ago, there was even a greater majority of men versus women. Now, in recent years, we're going to have men slowly changing this number because we're getting more degree female meteorologists in the field of meteorology.
From the very bottom, you can change, and this thing keeps going. So it's a good way to find this really happening things that we should try to achieve as short as possible. This idea of uniform complex governed by primary choice communication means that it's a law that you have to inform the public on what you are going to do as an administration. But this is not the ambiguity, because if you want to put a windshore offshore windmills in front of the coast, then you decide you put that information to the public, But at the end, if the public don't agree with this windmill offshore, they will stop it. So that will not happen. How?